Yeah, your boy Chili here. Welcome back to Nano CEF. In the last video, gave you guys a little demo of what you can, little taste of what you can do with View and Viewtify when you've got some reactive data. Create a template based on that data. It is dynamically going to generate the HTML for you based on whatever data you have. And any changes you make to that data is going to ripple down and automatically be reflected in that UI. Whenever you interact with the UI, the data is kept in sync, and whenever the data changes, the UI is updated to reflect that. It's a beautiful dynamic system, and I could feel it in my water that when you guys are seeing this, you're understanding, it's starting to dawn on you, and our circle, our CEF appreciation circle, is getting stronger. We brothers and sisters joined hand in hand in mutual appreciation of the beauty of CEF. But, hold on, I feel something, a disturbance in the circle. When I was doing a little testing for the next topic that we're going to cover, oh boy, something struck me deep in my viscera, existential dread. So, when we run a program with the debugger attached, it's going to attach to the process that we launched, this one. But we know that CEF has got a lot of processes going on. We're not attaching to any of those bad boys. But when you start to debug some of the other stuff, you might want to attach to them. And I think I mentioned this before, but there is an extension, it's made by Microsoft themselves, called child debugging. And what it'll do is when you attach to a process, if that process spawns a child, the Visual Studio Debugger will automatically attach to that child as well. And this is very useful when you start debugging some CEF issues. So, if we run with this enabled, what we're going to notice is, oh my god, okay, a breakpoint instruction was executed. So that doesn't seem great. Looking at the call stack here, we don't know any of this. So this is entirely outside of our code path, which is already a very bad sign. It looks like we're going to have a bad day. I see this and I'm like, oh god, my day is ruined, my week is ruined. Now, a weaker man would automatically go, well, this must be a bug. This must be a bug in CEF. That's not my code. Something's wrong with CEF. There must be a regression. But we're not like that. We're built different. We of the circle we don't do cop-outs like that. We're gonna own it. Okay, so breakpoint instruction. Obviously, we got very little information to work on here, but sure, let's continue. Illegal instruction. Okay, that's like a breakpoint is something in the code did that on purpose. And maybe we can, because we know that the damn thing runs when we don't attach the debugger. So we know it can run. So if we continue, maybe we can just get it to run, and I don't know, maybe we could find something out. I'm just, at this point, we're grasping at straws. But as you can see here, no, we're done. We're donezo's. If we attach the debugger, everything goes to shit. Now, again, a weaker non-circle member might be like, well, I'm just not going to attach the debugger. And, ignorance is bliss. But we ain't like that. No, we don't leave shit like this just lying on the ground. You got to take the poopy scooper, you got to scoop it up and put it in a little baggie. So I figured, I'll figure this out before the next video. But then I figured, why don't I just make a video on how to debug this problem? As you can see, this is going to be maybe a little tough nut to crack, and I don't think there's a lot of material out there on how do you debug something like this. How do you debug something deep in some third-party code binaries and try to figure it out? There's a couple glimmers of hope, but you're going to require a little bit of skill, and I figure I want to share that. So record this, and if it doesn't work, then I just delete it, and you'll never know. You'll never know. It never existed. But I'm optimistic. I think we can do some stuff. I got some ideas. So first of all, we run that shit again. Debug break. Okay, we got nothing here. We look at the output. We can see that there's like some logging going on here. We can see exceptions that are thrown. RPC server is unavailable. Binding handle is invalid. I don't know. That could be something. Keep trying to run it. Go. What do we got? Illegal instruction. Okay, well, Binding handle is invalid. CEF crashing in Windows 10. Well, I'm on Windows 10. I'm not seeing anything that precisely matches this. So the first thing, obviously, if it's not already clear, is you're gonna like look for some kind of error message that might be uniquely identifying and then try to Google it. You could also try, you know, like asking ChatGPT, but you know, that's a Hail Mary if I ever heard one. Check window created is failing with error, not enough memory, access denied. Create window EX. Alright, well, I mean, I don't think memory is the issue. This is also like CEF is crashing, but we don't crash. We just keep hitting like a breakpoint loop when we have the debugger attached. So this is not quite the same deal. And you're talking about like disposing shortly after creating something in CEF Sharp. That's not us, right? That ain't it, Chief. Say, I'm not seeing anything here. So that was our first try. The other thing we could try, this one is like again, Hail Mary, but binding handle invalid. Maybe this one. CEF shutdown. No, that's not us. Debug version crashes. No. Invalid binding handle while debugging. Nope. Nope. That's it. Okay. So this isn't working. There's another place that we can look though. We're not done yet. We're just getting started, boys. I got lots of ideas. So in CEF cache, we can check the Chrome debug log. Okay. Desktop identity consistency cannot be enabled. That's a warning. Query interface failed. No such interface supported. Maybe? Garbage. Okay, that's info. That's nothing. So, maybe this one? I don't know. Let's see. Alright, what is this? No such interface supported. COM object. So this is not CEF stuff I am seeing. Very common error. And we're not seeing anything here for CEF. So this is a dead end. I mean, it might be related, but we don't have any information. We can't push anything forward there. Alright, well, that's the first try. What else can we do? Well, we know that there's like lots of processes. Which one is actually causing the problem? That might be good info. 2512. Like we don't see anything different. 2512. So 2512 here is our boy. Oh, that's the GPU process. Okay, so we know that we're having a problem in the GPU process. Okay, so that kind of correlates with what we saw in our error, because this looks like it's GPU process kind of thing, right? Query interface to ID composition device. That's like a direct, it's not direct 3D, but it's direct 3D adjacent. It's actually GL, but whatever. Does this say what process it is? Oh yeah, there it is. That was the log from the previous run. 2512, query interface. Okay, so this is looking very suspicious, but our Google search did not yield anything. Now, there is a little bit of a latent memory that I'm activating here, and that is, and it actually comes back to something that I meant to go back to. So remember when we had the problem of building the CEF redistributable? It was because the iterator debugging option did not match. Now, I've learned you can actually turn those off from the command line using an important command line option that we should have used when we built it originally. So this is our familiar CMake command, except you see I've added a little switch in here, use sandbox off, because we're not using the sandbox. Remember, we pass in, if you look here, this is the pointer to the sandbox stuff. It's null. We're not using the sandbox. So we should really build this thing to say use sandbox off. And if you build it with that, by default, it will turn on the iterator debugging, because the whole reason iterator debugging is disabled is because somehow there's a problem with the sandbox, and they just, as a workaround, they just turned off the debugging. But if we're not using the sandbox, then we can have the iterator debugging, and instead of generating it with sandbox and then going in and editing the SLN file, we can just use CMake to do two things at once. So if we rebuild our binaries with use sandbox off. We put them in here, and then we also go in here and we'll do settings no sandbox is equal to true. Maybe that'll fix something. I don't know. Let's give it a shot. I'll be back. Alright, I dumped the new binaries in there. I built her. Let's give her a run. No crash, please. Ah, well. It was worth a try, right? It was worth a try. Let's see. 16156. Here we go. It is, yeah, GPU process, and it is now running all these sub-processes with no sandbox. So it is propagating the no sandbox option to all the children. And so if I feel like this is working correctly, this is probably how we should have done it in the beginning. This also, again, like I said, now you don't have to, after running CMake, you don't have to open the solution and screw around in the preprocessor settings. You can just build it. So that's great, but it doesn't fix our immediate problem. I just thought I'd try it. CEF, debug break, GPU process. What else? Decomposition device 4 failed. Let's try this one. Exiting GPU process due to errors during initialization. Crashes when opening DevTools. That's not right. GPU problem after CEF upgrade. Debugging issue. Okay, we're not seeing anything that's like matching exactly our strings here. I'm not seeing that decomposition bad boy in here. All right, so fuck me, I guess. Are we screwed? No. Now we gotta really dig down. We gotta do some annoying shit. So we don't know what any of these things are. We can't see any of the variables. We can't see the source code because we didn't build CEF from source. We don't want to build CEF from source. So we can get a little extra information without, building from source, because they ship as a separate download. They're shipping the release symbols. So if we get the symbols, we can see a little bit more in that stack trace and maybe some of the local variables. Now the one that we got is 1361. It's this one. So I can download this file. Then I'm going to copy those into the place where all the DLLs are. And we'll see if we can see a little bit more. All right, here's our release symbols downloaded and extracted. We need to get into this bad boy here. All right. Booyah. These guys should all go in here. I don't think we'll need any of them except for libcef.dll.pdb, because that's the one that they'd be asking for. Let's run it again. Oh, this is a little different. Breakpoint. Oh, look at this. Look at this, gentlemen and ladies. We got a call stack. We can see what the hell is going on here. Okay. Anonymous namespace. Create windows on thread. So here's where the problem is happening. It seems like a good, like a non-generic name of a function that could yield a hit. All right, let's do a little search here. CEF, create windows on thread, yeah. Debug breakpoint, yeah, we got that one. And GPU process. Let's see what we get. Oh god, oh, it's burning my eyes. GPU process crashes inside of GL create windows on thread. That looks, I mean, it doesn't say GL, it says, oh, it is here, anonymous namespace GL. Okay, so this, we're getting a little excited here, but you gotta curb your enthusiasm a little bit. I've updated CEF. Now the GPU process is crashing with the stack trace, and this stack trace is our motherfucking stack trace. Like, that's it, 1-to-1 pretty much. Can't reproduce it with the other projects. That seems right, because I have another project too that I'm working on that's part of my day job, and it doesn't do this. So I could see that. How does your sample app differ from CEF? How does your app differ from the CEF samples? Yeah, I don't know. I can say that my GPU process is launched using this command line. Looks like you're running with no sandbox and Alloy bootstrap. Lack of enable Chrome runtime. The Alloy bootstrap is deprecated. And blah blah. Disable Chrome Disable Chrome runtime. So maybe we need this. And then it's closed. Okay. But it looks like if we add use angle, then it fixes it. Now here's the thing. So this is using like a less optimal component to do the rendering, I believe is what this means. So I don't want to do this, but we got more. We got more down here. Can you reproduce the CEF sample apps using? No, I can't. Okay. Okay. Hello. CEF CAPI example project appears to be affected by this bug. Okay, this is interesting. If their own stuff is affected, if CEF's own project are affected, they're more likely to do something about it. Use angle prevents the crash. Okay, we know that. Interesting. GPU detection on Windows requires an app manifest with a Windows 10 compatibility entry. Thanks a bunch. Adding a manifest seems to have fixed the issue. All right. I'm not sure how I would have figured this out on my own. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I didn't figure it out. Although, now that I'm reading this, it does kind of ring a bell. I think when I started my original CEF project, at some point I had to do that as well. But that was like several years ago, and I forgot about it. So I didn't do it here. Cool. So we need this manifest. This one? This thing. So if we take this, and we somehow use that to build our app, that might fix the problem. It's worth a try. This is definitely the most promising thread that we've had yet to pull on. So, okay, how do we do this? All right, so let's try this. We'll create a new item. We will call it compatibility.manifest. Sweet. Paste. Copy pasta in there. Okay. Syntax highlighting is looking a little jacked up, but I'm sure it's fine. Now we go in here. All configurations. We're going to go to manifest tool. And in here, I think we can add an additional manifest file. We'll do compatibility.manifest. And we want to embed that into our executable. And I have no idea if we want to do any other stuff, but I'm going to say no. So, now, moment of truth. We rebuild. Manifest did not break the build. We run it. And look, it's your boy. And there's no errors. And let me tell you, it's probably running better than it was running before, because before it was failing at some point, and it was probably doing a fallback to software rendering, and now it's doing hardware rendering. Is my guess. I have no idea, to be honest, but I imagine that's what's happening here. So, we fixed it. And so, I guess this video will see the light of day, after all. Beautiful. So how do we fix it? Well, we did a lot of things, right? We did a Hail Mary, the sandbox stuff, which is good to do anyways. So, I mean, hey, sometimes when you're trying to figure out a problem, you fix some other stuff that wasn't related to the problem, but needs to be fixed anyways. That's nice. We looked at the logs. They gave us some clues, but they weren't enough to get the job done. We also looked at the command line, We got a little bit of information there. We knew what kind of process was causing the problem. That was a little bit of extra spice to add to our search query. And then the real thing, the thing that really took it home, was we got the debugging symbols for the release build, because that's what we're using. We were using the release binaries, so we got the symbols for the release build. We jammed them in there, and that gave us the info that we needed. So there you go. There's my process for debugging an error such as this, which, when you start out, it looks very scary. And it's like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to figure out how to do this. But if you just stick to it, you throw everything you can possibly think of at the problem, I'm sure it'll be fun. So that's it for this video. A little unexpected one. I didn't plan this out in the sequence, but I think it was good. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button, helps a lot. In the next video, we are going to look at how to bind the C++ side to the JavaScript side. And that's an interesting problem. Might learn or relearn a few software engineering concepts along the way. But I will see you then with some more Nano CEF.